beating the XQC allegations with the new haircut. But anyway, let's go straight into the fight. Jiri Prochazka versus Jamahal Hill. It's really close to call. If I'm being completely honest right now, I'm probably going to pick this fight based on personal preferences and the fact that I have put money on someone now. But if we're being honest, Jiri Prochazka is an extremely reckless fighter. Like, he gets into real wild brawls with fighters and tries to look for openings that aren't really there. He tries to close the gap too quickly with his hands down, trying to find angles on his opponents. Dips his head a little bit low. All that stuff is very counterable with uppercuts, hook shots, anything really, because his hands are just so low so often that he's looking to strike with you. It's very likely that he gets KO'd here. He looks to probe his opponent by having his hand down, you know, kind of like luring in the jab or right hand from his opponent, getting him to overextend so he can throw back. Sometimes he doesn't even do that. Sometimes he just marches forward and just goes waka waka waka. Just like a wild man out there. And Jamahal Hill, if anything, has a very clean 1-2 down the middle, down the pipe. He's very good with that. Like, he's very technical with his striking. He's not the most athletic guy, if I'm being completely honest with you. Like, considering that, like, apparently he was playing basketball in high school, isn't really showing the most insane athleticism we've ever seen. The guy literally gassed out to Thiago Santos. He was just like, you know, just like on the brink of death, it felt like, in that fight. Like, afterwards, he was exhausted. He couldn't even stand up. Fell on his back, said, "I belong." But really, what are we looking at here? We're looking at a guy that's really reckless, unorthodox, versus a guy who's very basic with his striking. Let's be honest here. Skill for skill-wise, I would probably give the edge to Jiri Prochazka. I think he is quite skillful. I think he doesn't get given the credit that he deserves. But his arsenal, like his repertoire of strikes that he has in his bag, is quite deep. He is very angular. I don't know if that's the right word to say, but he's very angular with his striking. Like the way he has his spinning attacks. He's very quick. He has multiple angles he can attack you from. The defense is the big problem here, though. When it comes to offense, like, the guy is very skilled and well-rounded. Like, he'll find the opening on you. He can crack you. He will make you go on the back foot, but then the defense plays a factor in. And maybe that's the downfall and trade-off of having that offensive arsenal that he has. It does leave him open for a lot of strikes, especially down the middle, I feel like. And if you can catch him on an angle where he's trying to spin or trying to dip his head down, it's very likely you can time a right shot on Jiri Prochazka and beat him. But the fact that this fight is 3 rounds as opposed to 5 does lower the opportunity and the chances for that to happen. But when I look at these two fighters, I am looking at Jamahal Hill as a fat middleweight. I'm sorry, he's one of them. He's one of the middleweights that seeped through the cracks that would have lost to Jon Jones, but he got to the division after Jon Jones left. He beat an old Glover Teixeira. But the guy's got a big belly on him, and the fact that he's a former world champion, I think the guy could probably make middleweight if you really wanted to lose that extra belly fat. Maybe cut off the beers, maybe cut off the burgers. You don't need all that. I mean, you're a professional athlete. Have some respect for yourself and your body. Come on, man. Jiri Prochazka, on the other hand, much more chiseled, much more well-rounded, and was actually thinking about moving down to middleweight, which just shows you the type of discipline that he has. Now, the other issue with Jiri Prochazka is the fact that he will sometimes just straight up refuse to wrestle. Like, he will just say, "Screw this, I'm not doing it." And for some reason, the pride thing comes into it. Like, for some reason, Jiri Prochazka thinks, "Oh, well, I'm a striker. I can outstrike with anyone. It's not the honorable thing to do to take the fight to the ground." He wants to prove himself, but sometimes, like, the head movement, listen, I think Jiri Prochazka's head movement's kind of underrated. Like, he does move his head around a bit. You can't just time a 1-2 down the middle like Jamahal Hill will be trying to do. I don't think he'll be able to do that. But sometimes Jiri Prochazka, man, like, just take the fight to the ground. Don't get me wrong, Jamahal Hill has underrated takedown defense. It's completely stuffed Glover Teixeira. But then was taken down by Thiago Santos. So we don't know. Like, he'll probably be training the striking for this match. It just depends on how much effort he puts into the training camp when it comes to the wrestling portion of the whole camp, I suppose. Jiri Prochazka can mix it up with the takedowns. I think he could stuff the takedowns of Jamahal Hill if Jamahal Hill tries to go down that route. But Jamahal Hill, again, one of those prideful fighters that just will refuse to shoot takedowns at times, it feels like. But if I really had to put money on this, and I do have money on this, by the way, I'm not just making a video, I would have to go with Jiri Prochazka here. Like, the guy is the more skillful fighter, the more unbasic fighter. Like, if he loses to Jamahal Hill here, like, call it a career. And if we know anything about Jiri Prochazka, it's the fact that he can take a shot. I know Alex Pereira's got some godlike power, like, he's got the right hand of God, it feels like, but for the most part, Jiri Prochazka can take a lot of punishment, took a lot of punishment against Dominic Reyes, took some significant punishment from Glover Teixeira. I know neither of those guys are maybe the power punchers that Jamahal Hill is, but he also took punishment of Rakic. So, And he's shown resilience enough to be able to grit down and fight back. I don't know if Jamahal Hill has that same level of grit. We haven't really seen him in close fights. Like, he lost to Alex Pereira straight up. Lost to Paul Craig just straight up after dominating that fight. In other scenarios, we've seen him fighting guys like Jimmy Crute and Johnny Walker, guys he's just blown out in the first round. I don't think Jiri Prochazka is that. I don't think he gets blown out in the first round. I don't think his chin is as weak as Johnny Walker or Jimmy Crute's either, if I'm being completely honest. I think Jiri Prochazka has a really good chin. But we don't really know how he's recovered from his last fight, because his last fight was pretty rough. Like, the guy got just obliterated facially. What am I saying? Of course, he got obliterated. Like, in the end of the first round, got dropped, wobbly-legged, heading into the second round, and just is hopping around on his feet. The moment he stops, Alex Pereira says, all right, enough of this. Head kick, finishes him off, and Dayton has follow-up shots after that. I'm glad he took the rest of the year off, and that's one positive for Jiri Prochazka. With Jamahal Hill, I'm not sure if a big layoff really helped him, if I'm being completely honest with you, because the guy needs to stay in shape. Like, the guy is clearly a fat middleweight. Like, he is out of shape, doesn't have any sort of visible abs, and I'm not saying that I'm in, like, the best shape of all time. I've actually put on more weight than I would like to admit. Still better shape than Jamahal Hill, though. I will die on that hill. I am in better shape than Jamahal Hill, who doesn't look like a professional fighter or an athlete of any sort. But yeah, I think Jiri Prochazka is the smart money to put on. I know a lot of people are picking Jamahal Hill because of the power in his hands, and Jiri Prochazka has just been KO'd, so you're more susceptible to do that stuff. But come on, if UFC get their way, don't get me wrong, they will rig it for Jamahal Hill to win, because it makes more sense for Jamahal Hill to win this fight, considering that he has kind of built up a sort of a rivalry with Pereira, despite it being basically transitioning into Alex Pereira's daughter after their fight. I get it, Jiri Prochazka's his son, Jamahal Hill's his daughter right now. Like, that is one of the bitchiest things you can do after losing. Oh, well, actually, if the referee didn't stop in the way, I would have won that fight. No, dude. You threw a punch, you got caught, you lost that fight fair and square. It's not like the referee jumped in as you were finishing Alex Pereira and that gave him enough time to recover, get his feet under him, and then KO you after that. It was a fairly even 50-50 exchange on the feet. You and Alex Pereira. It was like 2 minutes into the fight, and then you got knocked the fuck out. Like, calm down, man. Like, focus in, lock in. If you win this fight, I think you versus Alex Pereira is a fun fight if he can beat Ankalaev. If not, fight... Honestly, loser of this fight should be fighting Khalil Roundtree, or the winner of Blachowicz versus Ulberg. I think there's a fun fights to make. I think we need to get some push up in the division. I hope Jiri Prochazka doesn't lose. Listen, full disclaimer, I picked Jiri Prochazka to beat Aspera both times because he's my favorite fighter. Alright? I'm not gonna not pick him. Maybe against Ankalaev I wouldn't pick him, but for the most part, I'm not gonna not pick Jiri Prochazka to win the fights. And I feel like if he loses here, it's down to middleweight. Like, a discipline that Jamahal Hill doesn't have. If Jamahal Hill loses, he should move down to middleweight as well. Because, I mean, the guy, I mean, he's out of shape, clearly. Like, I mean, he makes weight with a belly. If you have a bit more discipline in you, and where's the definition on your chest? That's a soft chest, right? That is a soft chest you got there on you, Jamahal Hill. So what really we're looking at is a fat belly, pot-bellied Jamahal Hill. What was I saying again? Anyway, Jamahal Hill, if he loses, should go down to middleweight and just try to make a run there. Because honestly, if you lose here, Jamahal Hill, like, we know you can make middleweight. We see the weight that's to be lost, that's on your body, your big belly over there. Yeah. Now that I'm noticing, Jamahal Hill also has bigger nipples of the two. I don't know why, but that's just where my eyes go. I don't know why I said that either. Anyway, Jamahal Hill. More power in his hands, I do think. I think Jiri Prochazka is more technical with his spinning attacks. Like, he generates power to the way that he moves his body, if we're being honest here. Jamahal Hill, more stationary, can generate the power through 1-2 shots. Jiri Prochazka can catch you off guard with his unorthodox style. He's very random and sometimes reckless. Is probably a better word, but I think he's quite skilled. I don't think he's reckless for the sake of being reckless. I think he knows what he's doing. He's quite calculated, but it does leave openings to get caught. Obviously, he's not going out there thinking, oh, well, I'll just leave my chin out. If I get KO'd, I get KO'd. The fucking Cody Garbrandt approach. But overall, I would say Jiri Prochazka does generate enough power, can catch you off guard, can also, like, build up enough volume strikes to the point where you are cracked. So, while Jamahal Hill's more one-punch KO power, 1-2 punch KO power, the pick will be Jiri Prochazka here. As you can see clearly, Jiri Prochazka is where the money is, the smart money is. The smart money is on Jiri Prochazka. That is where the money's going to be going. Yeah, big money. And it's, again, my favorite fighter. I want him to win really badly. If he wins this fight, I think, you know, one more fight and we could potentially see a title shot for Jiri Prochazka. It's just how the light heavyweight division works. If Ankalaev beats Pereira, that's extremely likely to happen. If not, we'll see what happens. Let's go Jiri, number 1 European power over here from Jiri Prochazka. Let's go Jiri. If you're a Jamahal Hill fan, you know what? I won't lie to you. Anyone else I'll be rooting for Jamahal Hills because the delusion is just so marketable. But I can't here. I think I like Jiri Prochazka too much. The bias is just seeping out of me. But anyway, I've got my money on this. If I make you lose money, sucked in first of all. But second of all, you know I lost money as well. So you can probably see me bitch about it on the live stream if you want to watch the live stream. Anyway, like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell for more prediction videos, more MMA content. UFC is getting back into the swing, so there'll be more content to come out now. I'll see you all next time. All right? I'll see you all next time. I'll catch you next time. I'm at 192 subscribers. Give me 200. We're so close. Give me 200. Bye.